Hello guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to look at something slightly different, which is USDZAR, and I'm going to show you how to sort of plan long-term trades using this chart. So if you're new here, make sure that you subscribe and you also hit the bell icon so that whenever I make new upload, you'll be notified, guys. Okay? So if you've been on this channel or if you've been watching the videos from this channel, you'll remember that about plus minus 2 months ago we looked at this one, right? And at the time the price was still hovering around somewhere here, and I did tell you that anywhere from this horizontal line here to the highest point there, the price has got a very high chance of what, of going back to the downside. And then you can ask yourself, how did I know that? Remember, this is a weekly chart. So that's why I'm saying you need, if you are someone that's, you just want a peace of mind, you can just set up a different account where you're going to plan some long-term trades, right? So which means you need to be able to assess and analyze a bigger picture, right? So the reason why you must make sure that you watch until the end so that I take you through all the things that you need to look out for when you're doing what, when you're trying to search for long-term trades, right? So let's get started. So this is our monthly chart. It looks something like this, and this is the exact area where I said that when the price gets there, you need to be careful, or you need to start, because you can see it's moving up. You need to be careful so that now you understand we are inside a zone that can cause harm, or that can cause a very sharp reversal, simply because this is the resistance that I'm talking about. When it was formed, it pushed the price all the way down, breaking bullish trend line, breaking the support, and also when it left there, it left with what? Bearish engulfing, which is a very strong reversal pattern, right? So now the price, after leaving there, which was in, I think, late or mid 2020 or early 2020, right? When it left there, or late 2019, right? When it left there, it never went back. This is the only time when it was going back. It tried here to go back, but this is the only time when it's making like a proper retest of that zone, right? Now, that's what I'm saying. When a zone is formed, it doesn't matter how long the price takes for it to return to the zone. What is important is for you to keep in mind, or be able to say, when the day the price returns back to that zone, you must make sense of how that zone was formed. How did the price leave the zone? Is it a zone that is strong enough to cause a reversal, so that when the price is approaching that zone again, you start to plan your trades? That's why I said that on this, judging from the structure that we're getting, or we have on this monthly chart, we have a very high chance of reacting from anywhere from this to the highest point there, and also the closest area where we can get to, judging from or using the monthly thing structure, is this area there around 15.7. It's not going to be easy for the price to get there, but using the structure that we have here, we don't really have anything else. We don't have a choice, but we have a chance of moving down until there. So that's how you should search for long-term trades. You cannot be someone that says, I want a trade maybe that I can hold for 2 months or 3 months, but at the same time you keep on checking the H4 chart. No, because on the H4 you'll have structures moving up, down, in between. But if you're someone that's day trading or short-term trading, you need those time frames, because that's where you'll be entering and exiting a lot of trades. But if you're someone that you just want a trade that you will hold, open hold for some time, you need to only focus on the bigger time frames, which is why I'm saying right now that we have a higher chance of moving from this. We had a higher chance of moving from that resistance to this support, and we are almost there. We are somewhere there. We still have some space from 17 to 15.7. It's not gonna be easy, but now if you look at the candlesticks that we are having, guys, previous month the price tried to go up, but it failed. What did it close with? It closed with what we call bearish rejection candlestick, which is a very candlestick that shows that there's a lot of pressure to push the price to the downside. And then the candlestick for this month also, what we still have, it looks like a bearish rejection candlestick, but we can't comment much on that one for now because it is still open. So another mistake that most people make is that they will tell you that they are trying to buy, or they want to buy, or they are buying. Why? because they see a bullish rejection candlestick. But when you look at the candlestick that they're talking about, it's the current candlestick. The candlestick is still open. So if the candlestick is still open, how do you know? How do you conclude that it is a bullish rejection candlestick? Because that candlestick is still open. It can still change shape by the time it closes. You see, so you cannot comment on a candlestick that is still open. And another sign that is showing that there's a lot of pressure on this dollar to push it to the downside is the fact that as soon as we entered that resistance, we left with bearish engulfing. So we do have a chance to come to at least this 5.76. It's not something that's going to be easy. Yes, the price can go back. It's very much possible. But for now, I would say that in the next 3 months, maybe, I don't know, 3, 5, 6, it can take forever. But for as long as the structure remains the same here, we have a very high chance of doing what? Of moving down to that 15.76 and this bullish trend line. That's how you plan your trades. So let's just carry on with the analysis of this USDZAR. So let's do the weekly chart and see what we got. So on the weekly chart, yes, we've been moving up for a very long time, but all of that is changing now. For instance, look at what the price did when it entered that monthly area of resistance, of which if I scroll back, we will still find that we had a very nice what do you call this, a weekly area of resistance there, which is the one that the price penetrated the monthly a bit, touched the weekly, and then it turned. So when it was inside that resistance, if you are holding your buy trades, you know that the location now does not allow you to be talking about buying, especially if you are talking about long-term trades. Why? Because we're inside a resistance. Inside the resistance, that's where you find a lot of sellers. So you don't want to be a buyer inside a zone where there's a lot of sellers, because the chances of you pushing and winning that battle, they're very slim. Of course, the price can move up and break the resistance, but you don't have to be a tough guy and try and fight that and force the price to do that. No, you need to make sure that when you're inside the location must direct you as to like what you should be searching for, right? So now let's talk about the structure on this time frame, which is our weekly chart. So we had a bearish trend line here, and the bearish trend line was broken. And also when the price entered there, you can see there was already a lot of bearish pressure because of what we are having, bearish rejection candlesticks inside a bearish zone, which is a resistance. So and then at the end of the day, the price couldn't handle that pressure. It went all the way down, and what did it do? It broke the trend line, right? So now it's only a matter of saying, did it go lower than this support here? It never did. So we are basically sort of consolidating on this weekly chart. So if you're consolidating, you just need to make sure that you know that this is the zone that did a lot on this chart. The same thing that we did there on the monthly chart, to say that we had that monthly resistance from 2019 that stood there for a very long time, and when the price returned back to it, it did its job, because of what it held the price. And here we've got the support there. So you are allowed, because remember our weekly is consolidating, you are allowed to buy from this, you are allowed to sell there, but with what? With confirmation, simply because of what? We are still sort of consolidating. That's if you're trading these time frames, right? From here you buy when you get confirmation, you go up. From there you sell when you get confirmation. But we can end up doing what? We can end up sort of taking this thing out. Why? Because of what? The bears are pushing strongly. The bulls, they're trying to hold that, but they're not getting anywhere. And we can see that there we also, the past 2 weeks, we had sort of bearish rejection candlesticks. But let's see if we'll be able to move at least lower than them and continue like that. Because of what? We can put a bearish trend line there. Hopefully we will be able to do something like that. But I'm telling you now, this has got a very high chance of going towards that 15.76 for as long as it does not change the structures on these bigger time frames. So that's how you should search for trades on these bigger time frames. What is important is for you to be able to identify the trend, be able to identify the sensitive areas, so that you know that, oh, I'm planning a sell trade or I'm planning a buy trade from which area. So being able to identify those sensitive areas is a very, very important or crucial skill that you need, which is what I teach in my course. And I'm going to start with the lessons or resume the lessons this year. I'm gonna take the first group. We will start with the lessons towards the end of this month. So if you're interested, you can just hit me up. Then we will organize. We'll start with the lessons. But I don't want a big group. I want a group that I will be able to manage. I want a group that I will know everyone. If they need help, whatever kind of help you need and stuff like that. So the smaller the group, the better, right? So that we work together nicely, right? So let's maybe check the daily chart and see what we got here. So for the past a week or so, we haven't been making any progress, guys. But remember, we are still inside that weekly support that we said if you get a reason to buy, you can buy. But you cannot just go in without confirmation. Here, we are not going anywhere. Even on the daily chart, you can try put your, let's see on the daily chart. If you really want to force a trade, you will say we had a bearish trend line here, and that bearish trend line was taken out. This resistance was taken out, and this is the support. Like here, we are trying to force a trade. This is the support that did all of that. It broke the trend line and it broke the resistance. Now the price is back inside there, and this very same support is found inside that weekly one. So you can try and get your trades from there, targeting at least this or even that. But you need to be careful because, like I said, you're just forcing it. The bulls that you're trying to give so much benefit to the doubt, they're not really showing any sign that they want to push up if you check the candlesticks that they're forming there. So that's why we said you need to be careful there. So let's check H4 and see even H4 can give you a short-term buy trade. So H4 did the same thing when you had your bearish trend line and your sort of your support there, and then it's pushing up. But it's really not worth it, especially if you're trading on a short-term scale. So for this one, that's why I like it just on a bigger time frames, because that's where it will give you a better direction to say that if you can just get a nice entry, hold this thing for a couple of weeks, and then you just collect your money. So you can see here we have even the signs that they could end up pushing to the downside. So that's how you search for your long-term trade. So that's something that you should consider. Yes, when you're just getting started, you'll just have one account and you'll most probably be day trading and executing your trades on a smaller time frame. But once maybe you get more comfortable with trading and you want to sort of have an account where you can just open trades and leave them to run for some time, that's what the skill that I'm showing you now, it's what you need for you to come up with those setups that you can hold the trades for a bit longer. You need to be able to read the structure on the bigger time frames, because there's no way you can tell us that you're going to hold a trade for a week or 2 or 3 weeks, but yet you're analyzing on M15. Like there's no way. You are going to miss out on a lot about the price action. All right, guys, so that's all that I wanted to show you with you guys. So that's what you can expect from this USDZAR. Thank you.